Hello, everyone, and welcome to the National Inventor Club. We are in February 2026. This year is going strong for many of us. I've heard from so many inventors that are made their New Year's resolutions to keep their invention ideas moving forward. And tonight we have a great lineup. Couple quick announcements, which I will continue with Elizabeth Doherty from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in a little while to talk about our Inventor Day. We also have the inventor of the cell phone, Marty Cooper. He's going to join us for a couple minutes tonight and share some tips and advice to help us with our inventions, businesses, startups. He's done it all in his amazing career. And I also have his book to show you as well. And then we also have Pierre Lespinas from the Small Business Development Center, a division of the Small Business Administration. And then we have our guest speaker tonight, Jason Lott. He is from the division of the Trademark, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Trademark Division. And he is going to talk to us about everything trademarks, how to protect them. Well, first off, should we actually even get them? How do we protect ourselves when we have a brand or a product name? And we're going to talk about how that whole experience of having trademarks can build intellectual property assets for us. So we're going to go through all that. A couple other quick announcements. I wanted to let everybody know about, I'm just going to put it up here real quick. Shark Tank people asked me to show this. So Shark Tank casting call. You got in Southern California. If you want to find out more information, you could go to abc.com/Shark Tank. They're going to be in Southern California. Open casting call Thursday, March 12th, 2026 in Cabazon, California, if you're interested. Also, if you are not already a member or a subscriber in the Inventor Smart community app, please come join us. It's free. We have premium subscription, but it's free. You can do everything in there. Network, collaborate, communicate with other inventors, find out upcoming events, and meet some amazing people. So check it out. You can go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and you can find Inventor Smart Community there. Download it, make yourself an amazing profile, let everybody know that you're an inventor and you're coming on strong for 2026. So let's start off by having Marty Cooper. He has been on the National Inventor Club several times. He was actually my first guest on National Inventor Club. I think I think we're up to about 6 years ago. I've been running Inventor Clubs since I think it's been 2006, but I converted it to the National Inventor Club in 2020. So Marty was my first guest. So I guess it's almost 6 years. Marty, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you very much sharing all your knowledge and wisdom in the past. And I know time has passed and you have some other initiatives that you've been involved with. But tonight, if you can introduce yourself and give us some advice and tips where inventors that are just thinking about our idea right now, we haven't done anything just yet. Maybe we're somewhere in the middle, or maybe we have a successful product and we want to build a brand. Can you help us out, Marty? Welcome. And first, let us hear how you doing. Everything good?
Well, thanks for that great introduction, Brian. And thank you for giving me an entire 2 minutes, since you spent 2 minutes introducing me. I'm honored to be here. I congratulate all the people that are in your club that are attending this thing, because I think you're taking this challenge that you have of inventing something very seriously. I have been doing inventing for my entire life, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am because it's almost embarrassing. But you are in a profession that is rewarding, interesting, fun, and the most frustrating profession that you could possibly be in. And when I was trying to think about what to tell you that'd be useful. You got a professional teacher doing that with you in the club. You've got a lot of other inventors you're sharing with. I just want to tell you the most important thing that has happened to me actually within the last month. And that is the fact that, first of all, let me point out that when you are an inventor, you spend a significant amount of your time inventing, but most of the time you spend is trying to execute on your invention. It's trying to do the things that Brian just talked about now, that are things like covering your intellectual property, selling your invention. I am about to congratulate you for multiplying the amount of time that you will have for inventing. And the thing that's going to give you all of that time is artificial intelligence. Just within the last month or two, the state of artificial intelligence has increased by orders of magnitude. I'm not exaggerating. Those of you that have gotten away from it for a month or two because you're busy doing other things, when you come back, you will be astounded. And what does that mean? It means that every one of you has been promoted. You used to be a developer, you used to be somebody who was struggling trying to cover all these issues. You can now take all this knowledge that you're getting from the Inventors Club and you'll have a partner that will work at 10 times the speed that you can and doing all of the drudgery that is involved, that is not the creation of invention. So I congratulate you on your promotion. I congratulate you on this career that you've undertaken. I hope you're as successful as I am. And I don't congratulate myself on that because I can't tell you how many failures I've had in my life, which is all a part of what the inventing profession is. But congratulations on your promotion. Thank you, Brian, for inviting me. And if you'd like to learn a little bit about the things that I went through, some of the things I went through of my career, Brian's going to describe my book for you. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you so much, Marty. This book, Cutting the Cord, is by Martin Cooper. It came out, I believe it was a few years ago, right? It was in 2020. And Marty was kind enough to sign it, who strives to make inventors successful. Thank you for that special signature and your message there. Marty, where can we buy this book?
You can get it from Amazon or any other book outlet.
It's unbelievable. Marty invented the cell phone for people to actually connect and to communicate. And today we have cell phones that the last thing that we do is communicate. And Marty has been very outspoken about how his initial vision was to keep people connected and network in that way. But it had to start somewhere. And it started with this. You see that? That was the first cell phone. And he actually went a couple years ago in New York City, and he made the first call in the same spot in New York City with that phone. So it was very interesting. Marty?
Actually, Brian, that was 40 years ago.
40 years ago, but you went to kind of replicate it on the anniversary, right?
Oh, that's right. We celebrated the 50th anniversary.
In New York City. So that was amazing. Marty, how can we stay in touch with you? How can we continue to see? I know the last time I had you on, you were just starting a new business. What are you up to these days? You enjoying life?
I I have a hearing problem, which is not unusual for somebody my age, although there are a lot of young people that have hearing. And I have invented a new kind of hearing aid that I think is going to be revolutionary, that is going to make a lot of people who are frustrated now because they can't even hear anything in a restaurant, and they can't hear people with high voices. And I think I'm the perfect example of how your mind can keep functioning as long as you keep practicing all of your life. You could be continuously creative. You could come up with new ideas. and you always know something somebody else doesn't know. And that's the way that you can be successful as an inventor.
Thank you so much, Marty. It's interesting because you have the phone, right? The cell phone, and then you have these commercials that say, "Can you hear me now?" So I'm thinking about with your with the hearing aid and the phone, it kind of goes together. That commercial from Verizon, "Can you hear me now?" For those of you who know that, it's kind of
And it's
interesting.
ironic that you call it a phone, Brian, because if you look at what a modern cell phone has in it, it's a great deal more. It is a supercomputer and a camera and a whole bunch of other things. So
Unbelievable.
none of which
Marty,
that I invented.
Marty, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Get his book, Cutting the Cord by Martin Cooper. Amazing book, amazing guy. Thank you. We hope to see you again very, very soon on National Inventor Club. Be well, Marty. Thank you. All right, let's have Elizabeth Doherty. She's from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. She's running several of the regional outreach offices. I'm gonna leave it to her because it's moving quickly and she's covering and supporting different divisions. But Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. You always have some quick tips and advice for us, and also some announcements, I believe, that are happening at USPTO. I think you sent me one yesterday also to remind me of an upcoming event. So Elizabeth, thank you, and let's hear what you got for us tonight.
Well, thank you, Brian. It's always a pleasure to be on with you and the National Inventors Club. And I got to compliment you. It is like the USPTO Daily Double. Myself and Jason Lott on with your audience. It's too much to hope for. I'm happy to follow the illustrious Marty Cooper. And it's so perfect because the one item that you're kind of alluding to, Brian, that I shared some information with you about, and I want to share with your audience, is an upcoming educational and celebratory program that we are hosting at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. It's going to be a hybrid program, so in person and online. March 5th, we are celebrating the 150th anniversary of Alexander Graham Bell's telephone patent. So
Perfect.
It's so perfect that you had Marty on tonight, because talk about the progression of communications in this country. How fantastic. So this program on March 5th, you can find it on our website. So register now, is going to be an afternoon of historical reflection, an analysis of intellectual property and the impact it's had on the industry and on the nation itself. And then it's also going to conclude with a celebratory reception and some exhibits that people get to engage with, images and artifacts reflecting Bell's fantastic technology that really led us to where we are today. So that's one exciting thing, and I appreciate the opportunity to share that with everyone. But second, and again, Brian, you know how to position these things. I see that your virtual background this evening is the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office Public Search Facility.
My favorite spot.
Done. Well done, because as Brian alluded to, and I'm going to take it home, we are bringing back the National Inventor Club Day at the USPTO. It's happening Thursday, March 26th. It's going to be a day-long adventure in learning. Soup to nuts about patents, trademarks, all things intellectual property, how to engage with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And it's going to be led by experts from within the agency. So we're super looking forward to having you on campus with us for this return engagement. The last time we did it, it was really fantastic. But this year, I know it's going to be even bigger and better. So I know Brian's going to tell you how to get signed up for that special opportunity, but we look forward to having you on campus on Thursday, March 26th. So Brian, I don't want to steal any of my colleague Jason's thunder, but I certainly hope he's going to talk to you tonight about trademark scams. And I'm sure it's going to be a part of his presentation because it is such an issue right now. We hear our practitioners talking about it. We hear our stakeholders talking about it. And it's something that's really a very serious and growing issue. But again, I don't want to steal his thunder. I am going to let you in on just a little secret about Jason. Not only is he an excellent presenter, such an excellent presenter, he's come known in the industry as not only Jason Lott, but as Mark Trademan. He is the ubiquitous figure in trademarks. So I know you're going to enjoy having him on this evening.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. So Inventor Day, you are our host or hostess. And we
You
did
and
it
I
last
together.
year. Yeah, yes.
Mhm.
And we've done this a couple times, and we've had great turnouts. National Inventor Club, everybody's invited. All you need to do is go to inventorday.com, and March 25th, if you're rolling in early into Alexandria, Virginia, we're going to have a mixer, a social mixer. My wife's like, oh, you think you're in a fraternity calling it a mixer and social? It's funny, but why not? Okay, so from 7 to 10 p.m., we're going to hang out,
Oh,
right? We're going to hang out
you
that
can
night.
gain
And
so
then
much from those mixers. The meet and
it's
greet
great.
and exchanging of cards, it's so perfect.
Just the name, but I like it. Social mixer. And then March 26th, we're going to be in Alexandria, Virginia at the US Patent and Trademark Office from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And like you said, we're going to learn about patents, trademarks, everything intellectual property. We're going to take tours of the US Patent and Trademark Office. We're going to find out and learn about Inventor Assistance Center and all the resources available. And then one of the things that everybody always talks about is how amazing your colleagues are. We get to network and collaborate with them and each other. So we have a few spots still open. Elizabeth, I don't want to tell you on live here, but we have a really good turnout. We have a lot of people coming. So I'm very excited. And hopefully we can open up the double doors there and use both rooms. So we'll see what happens.
I
We'll
hope so
talk
too,
afterwards.
Brian, because we want to accommodate everyone who's open to learning and empowering themselves through education about the role and importance of intellectual property. And I'll let you in on another little secret, Brian. I'm super excited for the timing of this event because that space featured behind you in the public search facility, it's actually undergoing renovation right now.
Oh.
And come March 26th, I think it's going to be in at least close to its new and improved state. So you're going to get
One of
to
my
see
favorite spots.
a glimpse at something new. So
This
it's going to be wonderful.
This image behind me is a picture of the public search area in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Alexandria, Virginia headquarters building. And it's one of my favorite spots when I walk in there and I see all the create, inspire, protect, educate. I love that. It just, it's just a great feeling. And you got to just be in that area and the whole building to really understand what I'm talking about. So hopefully you can join us. Elizabeth, for the Alexander Graham Bell. Go.
Yes. Oh, please.
No, I was going to say with the
I was
Alexander
just going
Graham
to
Bell.
say, yes, for the event.
For the event, I have your email. I'm going to put it in the Inventor Smart community app for all of National Inventor Club to sign up before the March 5th event. So we'll get that going so we could get some good signups for you on that.
Thank you.
All
and
right.
I'll tell you just in closing, Brian, you talk
Yes.
about the power of being at the USPTO and how that can lead someone to success, just seeing themselves in that place and experiencing the power of intellectual property and protecting their creativity. I'll tell you, our director, John Squires, his kind of motto for the office is that dreams are built here. And I truly believe that, and I know he does too. So come bring your dream and come join us on March 26th.
Thank you, Elizabeth. By the way, it's free. You just need to get to Alexandria, Virginia. So go to inventorday.com and take a look at our landing page that National Inventor Club put together for you to sign up and get the details. And then I will share in the app Elizabeth's Alexander Graham Bell initiative that they're doing there for his anniversary. So Elizabeth, we will chat and I will see you soon.
I look forward to it.
Much.
Thank you, Brian, and have a great program this evening. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Thank you for introducing me to Jason.
Anytime.
Thank you. All right, let's have Pierre Las Pinas. He is from the Small Business Development Center, a division of the Small Business Administration, and he is in the Farmingdale State College in New York facility. Pierre, you always come on and you give great tips and advice for the inventors, entrepreneurs, startups that are out there. There are SBDCs all over the country, found in local campuses. I know a lot of people reach out to you first and then you refer them to them. But maybe you can help us with some advice, and then also give us an understanding of what you all do there that you can help us. Thank you for coming.
Certainly. Thank you for the invite. Always a pleasure to be here. Yes, I'm from the Small Business Development Center. You can think of us as the consultants that you would like to hire in a network of consultants, but you don't have to pay for them. And these are people with all kinds of backgrounds. This is not their first rodeo for almost all of us. We all had careers in finance, in marketing, in banking, and we are at the SBDC to share our experiences, and we are paid by the government. How good could that be, right? And so our services are free of charge. We advise people who have ideas and nothing else, but they want to know, how do you turn an idea into an actual invention or an actual business and then profit from it. We also work with people who have been in business for a long time, but somehow they feel unfulfilled. They feel that something is not working, profitability is not there, expenses are up, and they need a consultant to come in there and look at, well, what am I doing that could be improved? And we do that too. Operations, we have experts in operations. We also do MWBE, Minority Women Business Enterprise Advisement, where people can actually bid on government type projects and be successful that way. But for you inventors, the tip that I wanted to give you tonight is this. After you've done your research and development and you have your prototype and you absolutely have fulfilled your intellectual property journey, everything is set, at some point it's going to be about the money, right? You need to monetize what you've done. You need to create a business that actually generate a profit, right? Now, at that point, if you're wondering why you should come to us, since we're not bankers, we don't have money to give you, we're not investors, so why should you come? You should come because when you go to these people, the bankers and the investors, I'm just going to tell you about 3 numbers you need to know, and we'll help you figure it out. You need to know how much capital you need to launch the business. You can't say between this or that. You have to be clear. How much money do you need? What is your capital requirement? That's number 1. The second thing is, how many of those things will you have to sell to break even in your operations? That's number 2. Number 3, what kind of return on investment do you think you'll be able to generate in the span of 3 to 5 years? 3 numbers. If you're not involved in finance, you don't know how to do it, please come. It's free. We'll help you walk through this, and you'll come out being very clear, very convincing about the money that you need to be successful.
Thank you so much, Pierre. Amazing advice. You can find Pierre in the Farmingdale State College in New York campus. There are small business development centers, like I said, a division of the Small Business Administration. How much does it cost, Pierre? Free.
Zero. Free.
Zero. You can find a local SBDC in your area by going to America's SBDC and putting in your area code, zip code, whatever it is, and you can find one in a campus near you. Pierre, thank you so much. I gave you a ring today to invite you to Inventor Day. Hopefully you can show up. You don't have to give me the answer now.
Absolutely. Awesome. I will definitely consider it. Sounds exciting.
Thank you so much, Pierre. We'll see you again soon. Please say hi to Erica and your colleagues in in Farmingdale State
Thanks
College.
for the opportunity, always.
Thank you. Speak
All
to you
right,
soon.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Here we are, Jason Lott. He is from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and he has the title of Managing Attorney for Trademarks Customer Outreach. So, Jason, thank you for joining us. If you don't mind introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about your career and what you're up to at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
Sure thing. Well, thank you very much, Brian, and thank you everybody for being here tonight. As Brian said, I'm Jason Lott. My title doesn't matter. What matters is what my job is, and that is to teach you about trademarks, what they are, why they're important, and how the federal registration of your trademark can help you build your business. I have been with the USPTO for over 20 years. I was originally hired all the way back in 2000 as a trademark examining attorney. So I was one of the folks who were examining your application when you applied to register your trademark. Did that for around 10 years, and then about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, I started to transition out of doing examination and into doing outreach. And that is really in some ways where I discovered, oh, that's what my life's purpose is. It is to help people understand potentially complex issues when it comes to intellectual property and sort of break them down into things that people can take action on and things that they can understand and quickly put into place while they're off doing other things in their lives, like inventing or running a business or trying to get a business up and going.
Well, I have dozens of trademarks, and I'm just thinking, since you are a trademark examiner, I hope you weren't one of the ones that rejected one of my applications. I got to look into that. You know, we've
It's
been
quite
nice
possible.
to each other.
That's right. You know, as an examining attorney, you see thousands of applications every single year. So it is quite possible I ran across one of yours way back in the day.
All right. We'll talk about that. Talk about that. But Jason, we're inventors for the most part. There's resources for inventors that are watching. There's startups, there's entrepreneurs. But at some point, we're going to come up with this idea, and we want to come up with a name. We have different ways of building our intellectual property assets that one day we're going to either be selling it, maybe we'll sell the company, we'll sell the product, whatever it is. And it's very important. And a lot of times when I'm talking to inventors, we get it mixed up. We say, yes, I just filed a trademark when they really meant a patent, or a patent and it's a trademark, or should it be a copyright? So all these things are a little confusing. So no matter what stage you're at, whoever's listening or watching out there, whatever stage you're at, you're going to learn something great tonight. And Jason, you're going to bring it home for us. So we appreciate you. We're going to put up your slides. We're going to go through everything trademark tonight. So there's going to be things in here that are interesting, and we're going to fly through them. But what's beautiful is that this is recorded, and you can come back, or you might want to take a screenshot of what it is on the screen. But don't worry, we are archived. You can always come back to this. But for those of you who are watching and listening tonight, you could be part of the interaction that Jason has put into this presentation for us. So stay tuned. Jason, let's get started.
All right, sounds good. Well, this is what we're going to cover, and I'm going to not move too fast, but also move quickly, because there's a lot of things that I want you to know in terms of the basic sorts of stuff. We're going to talk about what a trademark actually is. We're going to talk about why you might want to consider registering your trademark with the USPTO. We'll talk about filing and registration, some things to keep in mind as you're considering applying to register your trademark. I'm going to introduce you to some resources. And then if we have any time and if there are any questions that might pop up, I'm going to do my best to answer them before I have to get out of here. So let's do it. Let's start off with what in the world a trademark actually is. Because as Brian said, it's quite possible that you're using the words interchangeably. I hear it all the time. I'm going to patent that trademark on my copyright. I'm going to copyright the trademark on my patent. And so anytime somebody says this, I do not judge. But what's interesting is the ideas of what these specific types of intellectual property actually are seem to be a little bit confused in folks' minds. So let's really drill down and talk about what a trademark actually is. And the way that I like to do that is to actually show you some examples that I am sure that you are aware of. So when you see the logo up in the top left-hand corner of the screen, I'm sure that everyone on this call today recognizes that as the Apple logo. But here's the thing. My question for you is, what product or service do you think of when you see that trademark? So, Brian, you want to shout out what product or service you think of when you see that logo?
I think of Apple computers, Apple iPhones, Apple
Yeah.
iPads.
That's right. You're you're thinking earbuds, maybe you're thinking watches, thinking streaming services, virtual reality helmet sorts of things. So the point is, when you see the trademark, boom, you're automatically thinking about specific products and services, and you know where those products and services came from. Same thing with Coca-Cola. You see Coca-Cola, boom, you're thinking soft drinks. McDonald's, hamburgers and French fries. Amazon, buy whatever you want and get it in 2 days, including Marty's book. Samsung, consumer electronics. Microsoft, hardware, software. Google search, Nike shoes, Ford trucks. See the point? When you see the trademark, it's automatically calling to mind goods and services. And that relationship between the trademark, the wording or the slogan or the little graphic, and its underlying product or service is key. Without that relationship, it is not actually a trademark. It's just a word, or it's just a phrase, or a kind of cool looking design. It absolutely must indicate the source of specific products and services. And that is, if we want to get down to the real legal definition here, that's the point. It's any word, symbol, design, or combination thereof that identifies the source of specific products and services and distinguishes them from the products and services of another party. So the easiest thing to think about is when you go to a restaurant and you sit down and the waiter comes over and they ask, would you like something to drink? Now, oftentimes what people say is, I would love a Coke. And the waiter says, is a Pepsi okay? And that is a trademark in action. I'm sure we have all experienced that at one point in our lives. And what you're doing is you're experiencing trademarks in the real world. You're using the Coca-Cola brand name to indicate the source of the product that you want. The waiter is using the PepsiCo trademark to indicate the source of the product they actually provide. And both of those soft drink companies are using their own trademarks to distinguish themselves from their competitors. So for you inventors out there, think about that. Think about what you might be using as the indicator of the source of your specific product or service that you might be providing. It's a way for customers to be able to identify you in the marketplace and potentially also call for that thing. Another way to think about it is also legal protection for your brand. So Pierre mentioned marketing folks, and I'm sure you, Brian, might have some marketing folks who come on from time to talk to you about marketing. Some people marketing folks often, when they're talking about a brand, they refer to it as how people feel about you, or the conversation that you're having with your customers, or the community that you're creating by having this product and other people are experiencing it. Well, feelings and communication and connection and community, those are all really kind of hard things to protect. That's why a trademark is so important. It is a piece of your overall brand, and it's actually a legal property right which can be protected. And so that's why it's so important that you do understand what a trademark is, and also potentially the benefits of federal trademark registration.
As we're going through these slides, if you do have any questions or comments that you'd like to put in the chat, we're streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, in the Inventor Smart Community app, a few other ones, I think Twitter, X, Instagram. So please share your questions. Let's see if we can get through the slides and answer them as we're going through them. But Jason, so that's a great understanding of trademarks, identification, being able to understand what the meaning of the trademarks are. And then you're going to also talk to us and help us to understand, when do we need this trademark? How do
Yep.
we apply for this trademark? How much does it cost? How does it actually protect us? How do we protect it? So
Yes.
I know we have a little bit more to go, but I just wanted to let everyone know what's in store for you.
Oh, absolutely. I love that you teased it, because that stuff is so important, and we're going to get there in just a couple minutes. So stick with us, folks. Brian and I are laying the foundation right now to help you understand those basics, and then we're going to build. Okay? So let's talk about what a trademark is not, because I hear it all the time. There are lots of misconceptions that are out there about what a trademark is. I'll have a friend who will say something funny, and they'll go, "Trademark! Haha, I just trademarked it, so that means I own it. Nobody else can say it." No, man, that's actually not what that means, because a trademark does not mean that you legally own a word or a phrase. It doesn't mean you can stop other people from saying that word or phrase, and it does not mean that people owe you money just because they say a word or a phrase. Let's again take our Apple example. Apple Incorporated uses the word Apple as a trademark to indicate the source of their specific products and services. It does not mean that they literally own the word Apple, that they could stop me from saying the word Apple, or that I owe them money just because I've said the word Apple a couple of times tonight. But what it does mean is they are the ones who have the exclusive right to use it to indicate the source of their specific products and services. So if I was the next coming of Marty Cooper, and I developed my own new smartphone, and I wanted to call it an Apple phone, yeah, that's probably going to be a problem. If I apply to register with the USPTO, chances are they're going to say, "No, Jason, get out of here." And probably the folks at Apple are going to say, "No, no, 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 man. We're the ones who had the exclusive right to use the word Apple to indicate the source of our specific products." Right? So what it really boils down to is the exclusive right to do something, and not sort of blanket ownership of the word or that phrase. And if you have any questions about that, as Brian said, please feel free to throw it into one of the chats. We'll try to get to it before we have to leave this evening.
We do have one here from Chuck Tyler. He said, will you also cover word marks?
That is a great question, Chuck. Yes, because trademarks in many ways are word marks are trademarks. Okay, we'll talk about that in probably just like in one more slide. So it's like I love it, man. You're right with us. You're right with us. So definitionally, let's talk about the difference between a trademark and a service mark. Technically, a trademark indicates the source of products. A service mark indicates the source of services, but really you don't have to worry about the difference between the two, because the word trademark actually encompasses identifying the source of both products and services. If you want to get hyper technical, sure. But in the real world out here where we all live, the word trademark is fine to use to indicate the source of, hey, here's a product that I provide, or hi, you're hiring me to perform this activity for you. So you can even refer to it as a, quote, mark, and it's fine. You don't have to refer to it as a trademark or a service mark. You can just call it a mark, and that's okay. And probably throughout the day today, you're going to hear me just call something a mark.
I heard that was your nickname.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So let's get to really, in some ways, to Chuck's question here about, we're going to get into word marks right now. So there are what I think of as like the big three when it comes to trademarks. Those are going to be brand names, slogans, and logos. So Chuck, your question about are we going to cover word marks in many ways is what we mean by brand name. So the brand name of a product, or perhaps the brand name of a service that is being provided. Typically, if it's just the brand name alone, it's just going to be a word or a series of words. There are also obviously slogans, just do it, Subway, eat fresh, good, whatever, I'm loving it. There's all sorts of different slogans that are out there. What can Brown do for you? Although they don't use that one too much anymore. Or Brian, with regard to your Verizon comment earlier.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Exactly. And of course, there are also logos as well. So for a lot of you inventors who are just maybe starting your business and starting to grow your business, you might be freaking out a little bit and thinking, oh my goodness, I have to have this and I've got to have this and I have to have this. No, not necessarily. If you think about some of the more well-known brand names that are out there, sometimes it's just a brand name. It doesn't have some big fancy logo. It doesn't have a slogan. Sometimes a brand name on its own is a-okay. Let me give you a couple of examples. So if you decided to apply to register your brand name with us, you could do kind of what Coca-Cola did down there in the bottom left-hand corner, and that is submit just the wording. Not what it looks like, but just the wording alone. This is one of the broadest scopes of protection that you can get for your trademark, because you're saying, hey, USPTO, I want to register my trademark with you regardless of the font style, size, color I happen to use it in out there in the real world. Like, imprinted on my product or, on my website where I advertise my services, whatever it is. This is really broad protection because it means over the life of your registration, you can put your trademark in whatever font style, size, color you want to. And when you submit your evidence to us of how you're using it, we're not really going to say, hold on a second. This was submitted in Arial font, but now you're using it in Helvetica. Oh, no, we can't have that, right? Because here you're getting protection for the wording regardless of what it looks like. And that could be for your brand name.
We can change our logo anytime. We could change our logo every day of the week.
That's right.
And we're okay because the word. So that's the word mark.
Yep. Same thing with a slogan. Something like "It's the real thing." Yeah, totally fine. Coca-Cola's had many of these over the years. Open happiness, always Coca-Cola, have a Coke and a smile, all sorts of things. And if you're someone who does have a logo, let me give you 3 examples right here. You can see it could be, and Chuck, this is to your question as well. That's why the word wordmark can be a little bit confusing. Is it the brand name or is it the stylized version of your wording? You can see there the Coca-Cola word mark, but in stylized format. Same thing with the always Coca-Cola button and the 2-dimensional Coca-Cola bottle. If you have a logo, it could be a design alone, a wording that's stylized alone, or a combination of wording and design. It's cool. Whatever it is that you're using to indicate the source of your product or service. Now you can see these don't have any color in them, and we don't have time to get all the way into it, but they did this for a very specific reason. And folks, it is a reason that you too can take advantage of, okay? Pro tip for you here. If you have some logo that you have designed and it's in full color, you are not required to submit the thing in full color. You could choose to submit it with no color in it. And again, it's because it gives you flexibility over the life of that registration. You can put in whatever color you want to. And then when you submit that evidence to us of how you're actually using it, we're not going to say, hold on a second, this was in red and orange, but now it's in purple and green. Doesn't matter. Okay. Again, this gives you flexibility. So for those of you thinking about, what's my trademark going to be? You might want to focus your attention mostly on a brand name or potentially a logo or maybe both.
Great. Jason, I could tell you that constantly going on USPTO.gov website and going to the trademark area to actually register a trademark has become so much easier. Now, I could say that from somebody that goes on quite a bit, but if I was going on for the first time, you've made it quite easy for us, where we don't necessarily need to hire somebody to do this for us, although you could. But you could take a look through, and what you're learning tonight and going on the USPTO.gov website and going to the trademarks, it kind of walks you through beautifully. So if you haven't already done that, you'll be in really good, and that's why I do this. So you are empowered to make better decisions and try to do as much as you can on your own.
That's right. And we try to make it as clean and clear as possible. And so I'm going to talk about Trademark Center in just a couple of minutes. But our goal is to make sure that if you want to do this on your own, you can. Let me clarify that just a little bit. If you're domiciled in the United States, you can submit your application and do all of your stuff with regard to trademarks on your own, no attorney required. However, if you're domiciled outside the United States, then you must be represented by a U.S. licensed attorney.
Okay. So Jason, real quick here, I think Greg's going to get himself in trouble, but you tell me. Not that you're giving legal advice tonight, but Greg says my product is like Tupperware. Is okay to use that name when selling my products?
Oh, Greg, yeah, I love the question. It's not one that I can answer because it would tread into giving legal advice. So it's going to depend on the rights that the Tupperware people have in the Tupperware trademark. It's also going to depend on how you're using it. There may be ways, and I don't know all your specifics here about how you're using the word Tupperware when it comes to various things. So just be careful, Greg. Okay, that's what I would say.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let me hit this real quick, Brian, and then we'll get into why folks might want to register. So this is my, the reason I have this in here, folks, because I want you to really open up your brains and think creatively. So pretty much anything can be a trademark so long as it indicates source. That's the key. It could be a sound like the NBC chimes, bum, 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 or the sound of a lion roaring at the beginning of an MGM/Amazon movie.
What does that sound like?
Yeah, maybe for another presentation, I'll work on my lion roar. It could be a color. So if you have ever seen pink fiberglass insulation in your life, you have been looking at a federally registered trademark of Owens Corning. They registered the color pink when used with fiberglass insulation. If you've ever received jewelry in a robin's egg blue box, you know it's Tiffany's. They have registered the use of that color on their boxes and their bags to indicate the source of jewelry. And think about UPS. If you ever see a brown panel truck or van and somebody in their brown uniform, that's UPS. They have registered the color brown when used on those vehicles and on their uniforms to indicate the source of their services, right? So again, it doesn't mean they own the colors. It just means they have the exclusive right to use it to indicate the source of their specific products and services. And last thing I'll say to make sure we have time for everything else, bottom right-hand corner there, my guess is everybody on the call today can identify the source of that particular product, even though there is no name on it. Brian, am I going to embarrass you if I ask you to name
It's a Coca-Cola bottle.
Yes, of course it is, right? And so they have been using that particular configuration of the bottle called a contour bottle or sometimes the hobble skirt bottle, been using that for over 100 years to help indicate the source of their soft drinks. And honestly, one of the reasons they did it is because previously in the early 1900s, there were lots of counterfeiters who were knocking off Coca-Cola, and then you stuck a bottle in an ice chest, and then the label peeled off, and people couldn't tell the difference between them all. So Coca-Cola said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have a distinctive bottle shape so people can reach in there and find it and know it's a genuine Coca-Cola.
Wow. So the shape also.
Yeah. So a shape. So the shape of your product could potentially function as a trademark, or the shape of your packaging could as well. Things get a little tricky there, folks, so don't rely on it, and because it's going to take some steps in order to get you there. But I want you to, again, think creatively about how people can quickly identify the Weber grill, a Volkswagen Beetle, a Rivian coming down the street with their headlights on. Okay, so
great.
All right, so Brian, do we have time real quick to do knowledge checks, you think?
Yeah, let's maybe hit one or two up.
Okay, cool. Let's hit this one. So folks, this is just a review. Throw it into whatever chat you have open on whatever particular stream you're on. Does a federally registered trademark mean that you own the word or the phrase?
5 seconds. Throw your answers in the chat. Throw them in the chat. Okay.
All right. I'm assuming everyone is throwing stuff in the chat now. The answer is no. It does not mean that you own the word or phrase. It just means that you have the exclusive right to use it to indicate the source of your specific products and services. Let me hit you with this one. We have not talked about this. Okay, so this is going to be a toss-up. Yes or no. You put in the chat what you think. Do you have to use your business name as your trademark? So let's say, throw it in there. So let's say my business name was Jason LLC. Would I have to use Jason LLC as my trademark, or could I use something else as my trademark?
So do you have to use your business name as your trademark? Put it in the chat. Yes or no? Okay.
And the answer is no, you do not have to use your business name as your trademark. Your business name, your company name, your trade name, whatever you call it, that's what you just sort of register with your state in order to do business there. It is not your trademark. You could have something totally different. Now, it could be your trademark if you use it as a trademark, but it doesn't have to be. Don't fall into the trap of thinking, oh no, I have to use, Brian's Inventing Services LLC as my trademark because that's my trade name. Nope. It could have something really kind of cool as a trademark and not something like that.
Thank you. Jason, real quick here, question. The Open Door Kitchen is my trademark in the kitchenware category. There's an Open Door trademark in real estate. Can you differentiate this difference?
Yes,
So
I
she
can.
She has the Open Door Kitchen
Yep.
for kitchen gadgets type of items. And then she's saying that there's an Open Door trademark in real estate, which is a services also, right?
Yeah. So here's the deal. And I'm going to let me answer it and then address some of this because there could be a couple things that are going on here. Okay.
Yep.
So first of all, it's totally fine for different people to have the exact same trademark, so long as what they're providing under that trademark is unrelated to the other thing. Quick example, Delta. If I say the brand name Delta, Brian, what product or service do you think of off the bat? Airline, right? There's probably people on the call who are saying, no, I think about plumbing fixtures, or I think about moving services or dental services or my sorority, right? So the word Delta can indicate the source of all sorts of different things. And we as consumers don't get confused because the people who fly us around the country and around the world are probably not the same people who are providing the faucets that are installed in your home bathroom. So they're unrelated products. So in this case, I again, be very careful, can't necessarily provide legal advice. So if things can coexist out there in the marketplace, even the same trademark, it could be the same so long as what's provided under those trademarks are unrelated. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you. And that was Sean. She's very active in our community. She's one of our officers.
Oh, excellent. Good.
Great.
All right, let me quickly jump through this, folks, in terms of how trademark rights are created here in the United States. So there are multiple ways, but I'm going to focus on two. One is common law, the other is federal registration. So common law trademark rights are some of the quickest and the easiest, and that is because they are created when you start using something as your unique identifier for your products and services. So trademark rights in the United States are based on use. You use it, you're starting to earn rights in it. The issue is that they're limited to the geographic area in which you're operating. Now, for all of you people doing stuff online, hold on, okay? But for illustration purposes, let's assume that, Brian is only doing something in Long Island, and he's only has his business in Long Island. He's only has customers in Long Island. So perhaps his common law trademark rights in his trademark are only based in Long Island. He doesn't have protection in California or Oregon or Washington or Alaska. He only has it there in his very specific community and surrounding area on Long Island. Okay? And here's the thing. Common law trademark rights can be great. They can be incredibly powerful. And sometimes they're stronger than federal registration rights. But the issue is they become harder to enforce because you're going to have to go in there and prove, yes, this is my trademark. I'm the one who's been using it forever. He has not been. He came after me and becomes a big thing. Okay? So common law trademark rights, some of you might already have those common law trademark rights because you're already using your brand name or your logo to indicate the source of your products and services. You might already be using a little TM or a little SM next to your trademark. Those are called common law trademark indicators. You don't have to ask permission from anyone to put a little TM next to your trademark or an SM next to your service.
I don't have to file. And I could start using them because I'm already selling whatever it is that I'm selling.
That's right. It is an indicator that you're claiming those common law trademark rights. What you cannot do is use the R in the circle symbol. That is reserved for trademarks that have registered with the USPTO. Oftentimes people say, oh, do I have to use a particular font for TM? Nope. Do I put it in a circle? Nope. You just put a little TM. Most people put it on the right-hand side in a superscript, maybe a subscript. It's really up to you. The point is you're putting other people on notice that this is your trademark and you're claiming rights in it. That's the key. For those of you who say, cool, Jason, but I want more. I want to be able to have nationwide protection for my trademark. That's when you might consider registering your trademark with the USPTO. You get these rights are created once you get to registration, which, by the way, is not guaranteed. We can talk about why in a second. But it creates this legal presumption that you own the trademark and that you have the right to use it throughout the entire United States and its territories. You're putting the public on notice of your rights. You can bring legal action concerning your trademark in a federal court. You can record your registration with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And this is one of those lesser known benefits, which is key, especially for those of you who are in industry in which you're worried about counterfeits. So if you're worried about somebody outside the United States knocking off your product, trying to ship that stuff in here and undercut your business and potentially harm your customers with their shoddy workmanship and putting all sorts of junk in whatever it is, you can record your federal registration with CBP. And they say, cool, thank you so much. Tell me more. You educate the agents about your trademark, how they can identify it, all those sorts of things. And then the CBP agents are going to work to stop those counterfeit goods at our ports and borders. It is an incredible benefit that not a whole lot of people know about. You can also use your registration as a basis for filing in other countries. There is no such thing as an international trademark registration in which you're suddenly protected all around planet Earth. That doesn't exist. Like patent rights, they're country-based or territory-based. So if you want protection in the US, you file in the US. If you want it in Canada, you file there. If you want it in Mexico, you file there, and so forth. And the last thing is, at this point, you can use the R in the circle symbol, and you no longer need a TM or SM.
So I start off with a TM. I don't have to necessarily file with the USPTO trademark division, but if I want to go beyond my region, then I need to show the USPTO trademark division that I'm using it in a certain class of goods. How am I using it? When did I start using it? And then my TM turns into an R.
That's right. Well, you'll talk to your graphic designer about that, but they can swap out the TM and replace it with the R in the circle.
Great.
That's right. Yeah. All right. I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the clock here. Let me skip through these and just hit file and registration so I can do resources and answer some additional questions if they're coming in.
Excellent.
So here's the deal, folks. If you apply to register your trademark with the USPTO, this is a really basic breakdown of what it looks like. You apply, we examine, and there could be some back and forth between the USPTO and you. And provided everything works out, your trademark will be move into this phase called publication, this little purple phase, and then hopefully from there move on to registration. Again, there's more to it than that. It typically, on average, might take about a year, maybe 18 months for a trademark to go from application all the way to registration. But remember, there's no guarantee. So a trademark could move faster than that, or it might move slower than that. It may never get to registration. When I first started all the way over 20 years ago, I had a case to come across my desk that was 10 years old, and it didn't look like it was coming close to being resolved anytime soon. So these things can really take time based upon the specifics of what's going on in there. So Brian mentioned filing an application with us. If you decide to apply to register your trademark with us, you'll be using something called Trademark Center. Our base application is mobile friendly, has a guided user interface, it's saving your drafts, has transparent costs, and it prompts you for information. Our old version of the form, Brian will tell you, had none of that. Okay.
Right.
It was good for what it was, but it was developed in the late 1990s and launched in the early 2000s, and it showed. But this new one is clean and clear.
It's fantastic. You need to sign up to get yourself a customer number, and you need to prove who you are with Real ID and those type of things, whatever type of validation, and then you can actually file under there. And like I said, it's very easily guided. One thing also that I don't know if Jason could say, but I can, is, to go on and do the search. There's a trademark search that you can put in, start off with the word mark and see if it's something that already exists that's out there before you register or you apply, I should say. And you can also look at the class of goods. If it's close, okay, is it in the same class of goods? But that's where you might want to get some legal advice. But you know what? Sometimes it's pretty easy to do. So give it a try.
That's right. And we always recommend searching before you file. On the patent side, yeah, you're looking for prior art. On the trademark side, there's no prior art. What you're looking for, has someone already applied or registered a trademark that is similar to yours and used with related products and services.
Great.
That's the key. If there is, it could be a block. If not, you might be okay. So in terms of what goes in the application itself, this is just a short list. There's more to it than that, but you have to tell us what your trademark is, and you might choose to just register the wording alone, regardless of what it looks like, or you might choose to register what your trademark looks like, which could also include wording. You tell us, okay? Federal trademark registration is voluntary. No requirement that you do it, and that opens up more flexibility for you in your choices in your application. You also have to tell us what products and services you are using with your trademark. And you also have to tell us the legal reason that you have to be able to file. Are you already using your trademark in interstate commerce, or are you not using it yet, but you have a bona fide intent to use it within the next 3 years? Either way is fine. It's okay. In order to register, you must be using it, but you can still come in the door under that intent to use basis. And for you inventors who are coming up with it, like, hey, Jason, I'm not there yet. I've almost cracked it. But you already know what your trademark is that you want to register with us, even if you haven't used it yet. It's fine. You can come in early. Just understand you eventually will have to file an additional document, which will cost you some additional money to amend over to use-based. But you can come in early, and it's very helpful because it puts you at the front of the line. And so if your competitors come in later with something similar, we're going to suspend them until something happens with yours.
Got it. Quick tip. I know we're getting tight on time. So many of us, it's tempting when you're putting in, because it's really simple. You can put in and describe what your product is or whatever you're doing, that you can keep adding more things that you think that you're just kind of throwing in the kitchen sink there to like describe what you're using your trademark on. And just remember, whatever you're adding, you need to show that you're using it in commerce to be able to get a registered mark. So just tighten it up.
Tighten it up. That's a great way to put it. I've seen it where people try to kitchen sink it and they're like, oh, this is going to help me. And sometimes, folks, it does not help you. It's going to slow down your application. As Brian said, you're going to have to show us how you're using your trademark for these things. And if you don't have it, that stuff is going to have to get deleted out of there. It could also open you up to having told an untruth when you're filing your application. If you don't actually have a bona fide intent to use your trademark with, rockets, when all your other stuff is, wearable technology for, when you're, working out or something like that, that could really open you up to some problems where people are like, hold on a second, I'm going to need to see that specimen. And you could also have people who would try to attack your application or eventual registration saying they actually didn't have an intent, a bona fide intent to use it for all this other stuff that they listed. So please, folks, please be careful, be truthful in your application. In terms of fee, the base fee is $350. And that will allow you to register your trademark for listings of goods or services that happen to be classified in what's called an international class. So clothing, for example, happens to be in class 25. So you would say, I'm going to register Brian as a brand name for shirts, hats, pants, socks, shoes. All 5 of those things are classified in one class, so the filing fee would be $350. If Brian also wanted to apply to register Brian as a brand name for online retail store services featuring clothing, that's in a different international class. So it'd be $350 plus $350 for $700. That's how it works. Your fee is based upon the quantity of international classes that happen to appear in your application. I'll tell you straight up, aside from figuring out your filing fee, international class makes no difference whatsoever. It is completely irrelevant with regard to your trademark, except for figuring out what your filing fee is going to be. The reality is the class doesn't matter.
Wow.
Let me just hit you with some real quick knowledge here, because I see we're getting tight on time.
And there's some great questions also in the chat. I'm wondering
Okay.
if we could do a quick speed round of Q&A
Let's do it.
when we
Yep.
can.
Let me hit this real quick, and then we'll do a speed round. So
Great.
just be aware, folks, to keep your costs low, you can use what's called our Trademark ID manual. It's a listing of acceptable goods and services listings. And so you can search the manual. You can say, yes, that's right. I'm using my trademark as my brand name for my shirts. You know, add pants, add shoes, add. You do not have to draft your own. Again, these are not claims that you're drafting. If you want to draft stuff, okay, you're going to pay for that privilege. And the thing is, you're going to pay an additional $200 per international class. In addition, it really stands a chance of slowing down your application, because the examining attorney is going to have to go, I'm sorry, now what is this again? A nascent space technology for the addition of fairings while in an orbit? No. Okay. So
Most likely you don't need it. It's so self-explanatory these days that consider just using what they give you.
exactly. These are just some of the common reasons for refusal. Obviously, don't have time to go through all of them, but just keep in mind, registration is not guaranteed. If you get to registration, it is up to you to enforce your rights, maybe through cease and desist or a lawsuit. We are not an enforcement agency. There is no trademark police. It is up to you as the brand owner to police your rights. And in terms of how long your registration can last, potentially forever. Unlike a patent or a copyright, which will run out after a certain number of years, trademark registrations can last forever so long as you continue to use your trademark and file your post-registration maintenance documents with us. We'll skip that. In terms of help, scams, they are a serious problem, folks. Please take a look at the links that I have up here on the screen and really educate yourself. The scammers are becoming incredibly sophisticated. They pretend to be the USPTO. They are imposters, and they trick people, and they lose hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Please make sure that you're educating yourself so you don't become a victim. We have lots of information that's available to you if you have your mobile device handy, maybe not a cell phone, but your mobile computer that Marty helped kickstart. Scan that QR code, download the registration toolkit to your mobile device. It's a PDF about 18 pages long. It's going to take you through a lot of the basics that you need to know about trademarks.
Thank you. And when you're filing, do not put your phone number in there, or
Yes.
it's optional, but if you choose to, expect to get text messages like I got today. And listen, nobody from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office is texting you.
No.
And keep an eye on the end of the URL to see if it's actually coming from USPTO.gov.
Yes, exactly. They will try to spoof and say USPTOgov.com. Nope, that's not us.
Okay.
All right, Brian, I know we have 2 minutes, so let's go lightning round. Hit me.
All right, let's see. Here we go. Do you have to register separately your logo and word mark if you want to protect both?
If you want to have protection for the wording alone and for the logo alone because you use them separately, that would be 2 separate applications. Great question.
Okay. Next one. Where do I go to look for an existing trademark?
Well, you can go to uspto.gov, hover over the word trademarks right here. You can learn all about searching using this link, and then you can click this link to search our trademark database, and it takes you in here. We have information available to you to teach you how to search in our database through the help through here, and also let me just back out real quick. I'll go to learn about searching. We have lots of other resources that are available to you here as well.
Great. Can I trademark a line of different 3D forms with a unique aesthetic?
I don't even know what that means. I'm so sorry. I can't answer that question.
It sounds like a unique logo that probably, if it's not going to be a word mark, it's probably going to be some interesting logo that he's going to have to protect, right? Or she.
Could be. If it's a 3-dimensional configuration, those are potentially protectable. But remember, you must be using it as an indicator of source. So it's not just because it looks cool. Maybe that's a design patent issue. You have to be using it as an indicator of source. Good question.
What about consulting? Does that cover every genre, or do we have to file multiple?
You would have to tell us what's the subject matter of the consulting.
Okay. So if it's one specific field of consulting, does that cover a particular area, or It's not a service. Does a service mark cover all consulting, let's say?
No. You have to tell us what is the subject matter of the consulting. This is the ID manual. You can see, is it bereavement consulting, financial consulting, transportation consulting,
Got it.
marketing consulting, and so
So
forth.
that's basically her question, or it looks like, you have to pick the class of goods based on the type of consulting you're doing.
I would
And
flip
it
that.
says,
I would flip that and say, don't worry about class. Worry about what this specific good or service is. So think less about class and think about, am I doing fashion consulting, capital investment consulting, and then the system, when you're filling out the form, it'll tell you the correct class. You don't have to worry about that. The system will
Okay.
take care of that for you.
Okay, and whoever asked about the common basis for refusal slide, if you could go back into the archives and rerun this, we appreciate it, so we could keep moving along. So Jason, thank you so much. You are a wealth of knowledge. We hit your time. I know you're on a tight time. We have the after meeting networking, which I know you can't join this time, but for those of you who want more, whether it's trademarks, patents, we're going to touch on copyrights. We are going to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in Alexandria, Virginia, March 26th, 25th. Many of us will be there the night before. I'm going to fill us in a little bit more on that, but I know Jason has to run. Jason, you've been around inventors, entrepreneurs, startups. Give us some final tips and advice to keep us moving forward with our big ideas.
Here's what I would say. And first of all, again, thank you for the invitation to come talk to you guys. Here's what I would say. Think early, think often about protecting your intellectual property. It's never too early to start thinking about what your brand name of your product is going to be, or the brand name of your service. Start thinking about that. And also, I would say, don't lock yourself into, oh my goodness, it has to be this, otherwise everything is ruined. No, have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, because you never know if the trademark that you love is something that somebody else already loves and has already registered for something that is related to what you're doing. So have some backups in mind. Maybe it's not, 100 points is for what you're looking for. Maybe it's a 98 or an 88 on your scale of how awesome it is. But have some backups, because even if it's not perfect for what you want, it still may be something that you can get registered and is still going to work for you over the life of your invention.
Thank you so much, Jason. A wealth of knowledge. I know you run trademark boot camps for the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. You can find them and find Jason, USPTO.gov. Him and his colleagues are there to help and support us, as you see multiple USPTO colleagues on tonight. Jason, thank you for your continued support to the inventor community and National Inventor Club. I hope to possibly see you, and you can meet us all at Inventor Day. But if not, this was fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks again for the invite, and good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Jason. All right. So you hear it live from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. That's why we do what we do. Instead of me or you hearing things or looking things up and trying to figure it out, we bring you the source direct from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. You have the Trademark Office, Jason Lott, talking to us about trademarks tonight. So if you missed any part of this, you're more than welcome to watch it. We're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, in the Inventor Smart Community app. For those of you who are watching and listening, come join us. It's a lot of fun in there. Engagement with messages and communication and networking. Go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and find Inventor Smart Community. National Inventor Club is rolled up in there. You hear about all the events and activities that are going on. We have book clubs, we have meet and greets, we have Q&A expert sessions. Come join us. Thank you, everybody. By the way, we have an after meeting networking. We're going to talk about our speaker tonight. He's not around for us to talk to him directly, but we're going to talk about him, what we learned, some questions. We can help each other out. Come join us. You could see in the chat, there is the after meeting networking. Thank you, Andy, for your operational extraordinaire support. And Samantha St. Raymond, Sean Taylor, thank you for all your continued support. We are going to make Inventor Day amazing. we have so many people that have signed up already. I can't wait to flood the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in Alexandria, Virginia, March 26th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But you need to sign up and register. Go to inventorday.com and all the information is on there. Make your plans, register, and you will hear from us. We will chat. Thank you, everybody. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to announce the date just yet because I don't want to get it wrong. But just to continue on intellectual property protection. So let's say we protect our patent, or we file a patent, a provisional patent application, then we file a non-provisional. You want to protect yourself overseas in other countries. You need to file a PCT and go through WIPO, WIPO, World International Patent Organization. I have a representative that's coming to us from, I forgot which country. I think it's Germany. He is going to join us next month in March. So stay tuned, but either like us, follow us, come into the app, Inventor Smart Community, so you can know about these upcoming amazing events virtually and in person that we do. Until next time, have a great night. Signing off on National Inventor Club, February 18th, 2026. We'll see you again soon. Have a great night. And don't forget to join us in the after meeting. Even if it's for a few minutes, come and say hello. We'll see you soon. Thank you.